My child, listen carefully and lean in, because the words I am about to speak to you are not regarding ancient history, nor are they about a distant future that has yet to take shape. Rather, this story began only moments ago while you were going about your day. It is so recent, so incredibly fresh, and so shockingly intentional that the shockwaves of it caused a tremor in the unseen realm, even while the physical world around you remained completely unaware. Yes, exactly 15 minutes ago, a specific sequence of events was set into motion, and something dark was crafted concerning your life. While the world around you continues to breathe, function, and move as if absolutely nothing has changed, the heavens know the truth, and they know exactly what just shifted in the atmosphere. There was a meeting that took place, a gathering that was quiet, secretive, and deliberately hidden from every natural eye that might have looked their way, but you must know that it was never hidden from mine. A decision was signed in the shadows, an agreement was struck in the dark, and the very moment their agreement settled into place, the air around you thickened with a specific kind of attention and pressure that you could not quite identify. That sudden heaviness you felt, that wave of uneasiness that washed over you without a logical cause, that was not your imagination, that was the echo of their plan traveling through the spiritual atmosphere to find you. You must understand, my child, that this was not a careless conversation held in passing, nor was it a moment of frustrated words thrown aimlessly into the wind by people venting their emotions. No, this was structured, this was calculated, and this was the specific kind of cold, strategic planning that requires the cover of darkness to feel safe enough to exist. Two individuals, and only two, came together in that closed room with one singular intention: to harm you without ever being seen holding the weapon. They truly believed that the silence around them would shield their motives from exposure, and they believed that the thick walls around them would safeguard their whispered conspiracies. They sat there convinced that the absolute secrecy of their agreement would secure the success of their plot, but in their arrogance they forgot one fundamental thing. They forgot that I am the God who witnesses every single word spoken in the shadow before it ever has the chance to reach the light. And now, because I love you and refuse to let you be ambushed, I am revealing it to you, my child. Behind those closed doors sat a woman and a man. These are not random people, nor are they strangers who do not know your name. They are two individuals who are bound together by a toxic mixture of jealousy, fear, and deep-seated insecurity. The woman, she is the architect. She is the one who birthed this scheme and brought it into existence. She is the one whose heart cracked open with a bitter poison the precise moment she saw you rise and begin to flourish. It happened the moment she sensed favor moving in your direction, the moment she realized with terrifying clarity that your destiny carried more weight, more glory, and more light than her own intentions ever could. She simply could not accept it. She could not stand the sight of it. And she could not tolerate the thought that you were stepping into a level of grace that she never had the strength or the purity of heart to reach. So, she made a choice in that moment. Instead of healing her own heart, she plotted against yours, and instead of humbling herself before me, she hid behind the veil of manipulation. Instead of confronting her own brokenness, she put your name on her lips in a way she never should have, twisting your narrative to suit her envy. But she was not alone in this, my child, for across from her sat a man, someone whose heart is pliable and easily bent by the influence of others, someone who has a history of being guided by darker persuasions. She knew exactly who to choose for this task. She did not pick him because he is strong or principled, but because he is easily steered, easily convinced, and easily used as a vessel for animosity. He does not carry a physical weapon that you can see with your eyes. Rather, he carries a spiritual one. His tongue, his focused thoughts, and his projected intentions strike like invisible arrows in the spirit, aimed to puncture your peace. 15 minutes ago, she gave him the plan, laying out the blueprint of your destruction, and 15 minutes ago, he nodded and agreed. In that small window of time, a deal was sealed over your life that no human ear was ever meant to hear. But you are hearing it now, because I refuse to let you walk blindfolded into a battlefield that I have already seen clearly. They thought this plan would remain buried forever. They thought this moment of darkness would stay undiscovered and detached from your reality. But as they leaned in closer to one another, as the woman whispered every toxic detail and the man nodded his assent, as that dark agreement formed between them, the heavens felt the vibration of their words. The angels paused in their duties. The darkness stirred in anticipation, and I stepped in immediately because, my child, you do not belong to the shadows, and you never will. You are mine, and I protect my own. I know what your heart is asking right now. You are wondering what they decided, and why you. Why were you their target? Why is this happening now, and what could they possibly gain from trying to wound you? To answer that, you must understand something deeper, something rooted in the spiritual foundation of who you are, which we will uncover as we continue. Before we go further, if you receive this revelation and trust in my protection over the secret plots of the enemy, type "I am watching" in the comments to signal that your spiritual eyes are open and you are ready to receive the full truth. But I know what your heart must be asking in this very moment, for I hear the questions that are racing through your mind even before you form them into words. You are asking, what did they decide? You are wondering, why was I their target? And why is this happening right now? And perhaps most pressingly, what do they gain from trying to wound me? To answer that, you must understand something deeper, something far beyond the natural realm you see with your eyes, and something rooted in the spiritual foundation of who you are. You must realize that the reason you're being targeted is not because of your past, not because of your mistakes, and not even because of your present decisions or circumstances. The enemy does not waste his ammunition on history that cannot be changed. He attacks where he sees potential. You are being targeted because of your future. There is something inside you, a calling, a legacy, a divine imprint written in the very fabric of your being that shines brightly in the spirit realm. It is something the woman sensed but never understood because her heart was clouded, and it is something the man was told to attack without even knowing why he was doing it. It is something darkness has been watching for longer than you have realized. There is a mantle on your life that threatens generational chains. You are not just living for yourself. There is a purpose in you that frightens the forces working against your family line. There is a spiritual authority growing in you that intimidates those who depend on confusion and chaos to survive. Your destiny carries too much power to be ignored by the enemy. This is why the plot was formed. This is why it had such urgency and why they felt they could not wait another day. This is why it happened exactly 15 minutes ago. They saw movement in the spirit around you. They saw the light increasing, and they reacted out of fear of your rising. But here is what they do not know, and what you must grasp with absolute certainty. I have already stepped between you and their intention, before their plan could take on life, before their toxic words could travel through the air to find you, before their curses could be launched, and before their agreement could take root in the earth. I intercepted it. The woman planned the destruction in her heart. The man agreed to execute it with his words. But I, the Lord your God, dismantled it before it ever had the chance to reach you. It crumbled in my hands before it could touch your spirit. And my child, this story is far from over. What they plotted in darkness is about to be exposed in a way they never expected. What they spoke in secret is about to fall back on them. What they aimed at you is about to return to the sender. Their attack will become their own unraveling. But you need to understand one more thing before we go deeper into this revelation. Their plan was not against your present, it was against your future. My child, now that you know who was behind the agreement made in the last 15 minutes, it is time you understand why the attack against you was crafted with such urgency, such precision, and such secrecy of force. Because what they discussed in that closed room was not a minor matter. It was not a moment of emotional outburst or a petty grievance. It was not a temporary wave of anger or jealousy that would pass by morning. No, this was something the enemy pushed them to initiate. Because the timing of your life has shifted. You may not have realized it yet, but something around you changed recently, quietly, silently, without warning. A door opened. A spiritual gate unlocked, a heavenly schedule adjusted itself in your favor. And the moment this shift occurred, darkness noticed. The enemy does not attack randomly. My child, he observes, he calculates, he waits until heaven begins to move on your behalf. And then he reacts. And 15 minutes ago, when those two sat down, they acted as tools of a bigger agenda, not even understanding the magnitude of what they were doing. But before I reveal the details of their plan, you need to feel the weight of why they did it. My child, you carry something inside you that was never meant to stay small. You carry a calling that has been awakened. You carry a destiny that has begun to vibrate, to stretch, to unlock itself from generations of limitation. The woman, she sensed it long before you did. She sensed an elevation forming around your life. She sensed your spirit rising, your discernment sharpening, your resilience strengthening. It unsettled her. It triggered her deepest insecurities. It reminded her of everything she wished she could be, but never became. And so her jealousy fermented into bitterness. Her bitterness hardened into resentment. Her resentment evolved into hatred. And hatred left unchecked always leads to action. That action is what birthed the moment that took place 15 minutes ago. But the man, he is a different story. He is not the visionary, not the mastermind. He is the one who carries out what others are too afraid to touch directly. He is familiar with spiritual darkness, not because he understands it, but because he yields to it easily. He has spoken curses over people before. He has tried to sabotage others with words, with thoughts, with hidden envy. But what he agreed to do this time was darker than anything he has participated in before, because this time he agreed to aim his spiritual weapon at you. He aimed his words. He aimed his thoughts. He aimed his intentions. He aimed his energy toward you. But listen to me, my child. None of his arrows found their target. Before the first curse traveled, I blocked it. Before the first negative word left his breath, I intercepted it. Before his intention could take shape in the spiritual realm, I dismantled it. He thought he had taken the first shot. He thought he had launched his attack. He thought he had triggered something that would damage your destiny. He is wrong because he does not understand that I stand watch over you in a way he has never seen. He does not understand that every time darkness tries to strike you, I shift the ground beneath your feet. He does not understand that every scheme formed in secret collapses before it ever touches your life. And you, my child, you need to understand something too. You were not targeted because you are weak. You were targeted because you are chosen. The attack was not formed because you are vulnerable. The attack was formed because your destiny is rising. If you believe that your destiny is protected by a power greater than any plot, I want you to type "My future is sealed" in the comments to declare your agreement with heaven's plan over your life. My child, The enemy uses people who are spiritually blind to carry out plans they cannot fully comprehend. And that is exactly what happened 15 minutes ago. The woman acted out of jealousy, but deeper than that, darkness nudged her spirit. The man acted out of weakness, but deeper than that, the enemy manipulated his brokenness. They saw only the natural picture, focusing on their petty grievances, but the enemy saw the spiritual picture, and I, the Lord your God, see the eternal picture. And here is where the truth becomes even more serious, my child. The plan they created was designed to hit you on multiple levels, not just emotionally, not just mentally, but spiritually and generationally. Their agreement wasn't formed to hurt your present circumstances, it was formed to interrupt your future. The woman wanted your momentum crushed. She wanted your influence dimmed, your name tarnished, and she wanted people to turn against you. She wanted your confidence shaken, your clarity blurred, and your peace disturbed. She wanted to break what she believed was forming in your life. But what she doesn't know is this: you are stepping into a timeline I designed long before she ever existed. She cannot stop what I ordained, she cannot delay what I scheduled, and she cannot destroy what I planted. And the man, he believed he had the authority to damage your spirit. He believed he could release words that would impact your destiny. But what he didn't understand is that your spirit is covered, your name is protected, and your path is sealed in my hand. No word formed against you carries weight in my presence. But now, my child, it is time you understand what they planned, because the enemy is most terrified when you gain awareness. Knowledge weakens his plans, and revelation dismantles his grip. So hear this: their plan was designed to isolate you. They wanted you to feel abandoned, misunderstood, and alone. They wanted people around you to shift suddenly, for confusion to rise around your relationships, and for doors to close unexpectedly. They wanted opportunities to slip from your hands, and for heaviness to sit on your chest without explanation. This was strategic because the enemy knows if he can isolate you, he can distract you, and if he can distract you, he can delay you. But he failed, because even though you felt pressure recently, even though your heart sensed something strange, and even though the atmosphere around you felt heavier, your spirit stayed connected to mine. Your sensitivity protected you, your frustration exposed the attack. Your sudden discomfort was a warning. What you felt was not weakness, it was discernment. Even when you didn't know the details, your spirit reacted to what was being spoken behind your back. But now, my child, you know the full truth. A dark agreement was made, a plan was set, your name was spoken in shadows, and your destiny was marked. But the same moment they agreed, I disagreed. And where my voice stands, every other voice falls powerless. But we are not done, because I need to take you deeper. I need to show you why the heavens shook, why the angels took formation, why the spiritual realm reacted, and what is about to shift over your life because of this plot. My child, now that you understand the origin of this attack, the people behind it, and the darkness that influenced them, it is time for you to see the true weight of what happened in the unseen realm. Because what shook the heavens was not merely the agreement made 15 minutes ago. It was not just the whispering of your name in secret, not just the forming of an evil plan, not just the intentions hidden behind their faked smiles and controlled expressions. No, my child, what shook the heavens was something far deeper, far older, far more connected to your spiritual identity than you realize. It was the timing. You see, the enemy does not panic over people who are stagnant. He does not mobilize forces against people who are stuck. He does not provoke others to strike against those who pose no threat. The enemy trembled because your season shifted. 15 minutes before the deal was made against you, heaven had already begun moving something into place, something for you, something connected to your calling, something that would change the trajectory of your life. And darkness sensed it instantly. What did the heavens sense? A release, a breakthrough, a lifting, a divine appointment, an upcoming elevation. Your name came into alignment with a new spiritual timeline, and the enemy reacted with desperate speed. This is why the woman felt the sudden urge to create this plan. This is why the man agreed without hesitation. This is why the meeting happened exactly when it did. This is why the plan was so sudden, so sharp, so intentional. It wasn't coincidence, it was response. The heavens were shaken because an attack was launched at the exact moment your destiny stepped forward. The angels were stirred because a coordinated strike was attempted at the precise moment heaven had opened a door for you. My presence moved because the enemy was trying to intercept a blessing that had already been dispatched with your name on it. My child, listen carefully now, because this is where things become even more intense. When the woman and the man spoke your name in darkness, something else happened simultaneously. Your name was spoken in heaven, not in whispers, not in secrecy, not in darkness. It was spoken in authority, in purpose, in destiny, in clarity. Your name echoed before my throne, and the moment your name was released, a shift took place around your spirit. You didn't see it in the natural, but your heart felt it. That sudden heaviness, that unexplainable swirl of thoughts, that strange emotional pull, that restlessness, that confusion, that pressure, that is what you felt. You were not imagining anything. What you felt was the collision of two spiritual agendas, the enemy's plan and heaven's plan. And heaven overpowered it. But before you understand how heaven defended you, you need to understand exactly why you were targeted in such a precise moment. My child, what rests inside you is not ordinary. Your anointing is not random. Your calling is not accidental. There is something inside you that carries generational weight, something that threatens every cycle, curse, and limitation that has tormented your family line. And the enemy has known this longer than you have. He saw the shift. He saw the growth. He saw the spiritual awakening. He saw the angels preparing. He saw your spirit rising, even when you weren't aware of it yourself. He saw the mantle on you beginning to unfold. He saw the protection around you increasing. He saw your sensitivity sharpening. He saw your endurance strengthening. He saw your heart being transformed. My child, what you call struggle, the enemy saw as development. What you call confusion, the enemy saw as transition. What you call pressure, the enemy saw as activation. And when he realized that you were stepping into the fullness of who I designed you to be, he knew he had to strike fast. Because he understood something the woman and the man did not. If he waited any longer, you would become unstoppable. So he influenced two individuals who were spiritually vulnerable. He planted thoughts in their minds. He stirred jealousy, insecurity, and fear in the woman. He weakened the man's discernment. He exploited their brokenness. He didn't need them to understand the plan. He only needed them to agree to it. And when they did, the spiritual realm shook. But my child, listen closely. The heavens did not shake in fear. They shook in defense. They shook in movement. They shook in activation. They shook in response to the threat against you. Because the moment darkness lifted its hand against you, thousands of angels shifted their positions. A wall of fire stood up around you. A shield formed over your spirit. A barrier rose between you and every curse spoken by the man's tongue. Every arrow he tried to release shattered before it reached the atmosphere surrounding your life. And the woman, her intentions became powerless the moment I stepped in. If you can feel the shift in your spirit and you know that God has stepped in to defend you, I want you to type, I'm covered in the comments right now to seal this protection over your life. But now I need to show you the part the enemy hoped you would never realize, the secret motive behind the warfare you have endured. My child, the attack wasn't aimed at your present circumstances, it was aimed squarely at your tomorrow. The enemy wasn't trying to wound your emotions for the sake of pain, he was trying to delay your destiny. The woman thought she was creating a plan to stop your progress, but darkness used her brokenness to target the part of you that the enemy fears the most, your future authority, your future influence, and your future impact. He aimed for the seed you carry, not the fruit you show, because the fruit can grow back after a storm, but if the seed is destroyed, it cuts off generations, and you, my child, are carrying a generational shift without even realizing it yet. This is why everything around you felt so intense recently, why relationships shifted without warning, and why doors opened and closed unexpectedly. You weren't under a simple emotional attack, you were under spiritual targeting because your destiny woke up. But listen to me with all your heart, their plan did not work. It collapsed the moment they agreed to it. I stepped between you and every dark intention, intercepting every spiritual bullet and silencing every whisper formed against you. I frustrated their timing and reversed their assignment. And now, something is shifting in your favor in a far bigger way, because what they meant for destruction, I am turning into elevation. My child, darkness touched your name, and heaven reacted. The woman raised her jealousy, and my justice awakened. The man aimed his spiritual bullet, and I positioned myself in front of you like a shield of fire. They plotted your downfall, and I prepared your elevation. The attack they formed is going to become the reason for your breakthrough, and the trap they dug is going to become the pit they fall into. Heaven has already begun rewriting the outcome, and it is not subtle, it is loud, shaking, and irreversible. The woman's intentions are turning against her, exposing her true heart to the very people who once trusted her. The man's spiritual attack has returned to him, his curses falling powerless and breaking in the air like dust. But for you, my child, the shift is glorious. Every closed door around you is reopening. What you thought was rejection was actually protection. People who drifted away will be replaced by those who carry the spirit of loyalty and purpose. Your spirit is being elevated into new clarity. The mental fog is lifting, and the invisible weight that sat on your chest is dissolving right now. Your destiny has accelerated. What they tried to slow down became the reason I sped it up. They tried to bury you, but they did not know you were a seed that would only grow stronger under pressure. The chaos is ending, the spiritual storm is breaking, and the assignment is cancelled. You are stepping into victory, not a quiet or hidden victory, but a public, powerful, undeniable victory that even your enemies will witness. Lift your head, steady your spirit, and walk forward, for the danger is gone and the angels are surrounding you. You were targeted, but you are protected. You were attacked, but you are chosen. Your story does not end in darkness. Your story ends in glory. If this message has confirmed what your spirit has been feeling and you want to stay connected to these prophetic insights, please subscribe to the channel now. Don't miss the next revelation God has for you. Click the subscribe button and walk in your victory.